Just had another amazing phone call with a homeschool mom, and it's inspiring me to come on briefly in order to encourage you that slower is better with homeschool. This is such a key lesson, and I've been thinking about this for the last couple days. Remember or think back to the days of old when people would travel around for the sole purpose of being able to read books from other people's bookshelves. Because back in the day, you were lucky, you were rich, you were blessed if you had a full bookshelf, like a single bookshelf with incredible pieces of literature. And it was very likely that I would have a different shelf of books than you would have. People would actually travel across the ocean in order to get their hands on somebody else's library. And the reason that slower is better is because you give yourself permission to go deeper into living with the written words on the page. One of the things that people struggle with so much today is this never ending flow of information. And they feel as homeschoolers that they need to rush the education with their kids. They need to flood them with book after activity, after subject, after thing, because there's this fear that they're not going to teach their kids enough, that their kids aren't going to get the right things completed by the time they graduate high school. When in reality, if we can slow down and go deeper with our kids, then the education that they get is so foundational, it's so solid that they actually catapult beyond past their peers. It's so encouraging to speak with other homeschoolers that are don't think this is crazy. I love to talk with homeschoolers that are struggling because the struggles are clear to see. You know, when your kids are building something when they're little, they're 3 or 4 or 5, and you can tell that they just skipped a couple pages. Maybe they're a little older, but they skipped a couple pages in the instruction manual. And so you're looking at their design going, oh, it's very clear that they skipped a couple steps or that they missed some key elements. That's one of the beautiful things of being where I am in the homeschool journey, where we've launched our 5 kids and yet still have the pokers in the fire because we're coaching homeschoolers of all different ages and stages. I love talking with homeschoolers that are struggling because we've been there, done that. I feel like the farmer's commercial. I know a few things because I've seen a few things. And it's beautiful to be able to, in a very non-judgmental way, to look inside what people are doing in their homeschool and then to be able to say, oh, okay, I can see this clearly. Let's take a step back and let me show you what I see. And the peace and the joy that comes when the homeschoolers get it, when they see that. And it could be anything. It could be as simple as them wanting their kids to learn how to write well, but then understanding the truth that it's not that they need to write a 5-paragraph essay, but that they want to train their kids to be excellent communicators. And that's something that I'm really good at teaching people how to teach their kids, to understand that every piece of writing has purpose. I'm looking at chicken scratch on my piece of paper right next to me. And the purpose of this piece of paper is that it goes through the 3 things that I teach the homeschoolers inside Homeschooling Olympians. What is the purpose of this piece of writing? Well, it's for me to keep track of the call that I just had with a homeschool mom. Who is it for? Who is the audience? In this case, the audience is myself. And so I don't need to worry about things like neatness or format. And does it need any specialized vocabulary? No, it doesn't, because we're just talking about things that are very simple for me to navigate. But if I was looking at another form of writing, our youngest son just spoke with us last night and said that his class transitioned to an online class, and now he has to produce a 10-page summary every week of the things that he's reading. And he was so excited that he pounded out his first 10-page summary and got 100%. And I love that from this standpoint of this is the child that didn't read till he was 10. He has crippling dyslexia, and yet he's able to now at 18 to assimilate information and then communicate it clearly because he understands who his audience is, his professor, the purpose to summarize the reading that he's doing, and the specialized vocabulary is pulled right from the reading. There's beauty in slowing down in school. There's beauty in making sure that your kids know their basic math facts, that you don't need to push them to the next level in math just because they are a certain age or because society says that they're a certain grade. You can look at them and say, my kids need to rock their math facts. They need to know how to add, subtract, multiply, divide. They need to know fractions, decimals, percentages, and I'm okay making sure that they get that. And if they raise their hand and say, hey, mom, hey, dad, it turns out I'm a mathematician, then we will do higher math. There's so much to be said about slowing down and enjoying a story for the sake of the story itself. You don't need to chase all the sparkly, shiny things with curriculum. Especially if your kids are younger than 14. And I always pull the number 14. It's 13 to 16 kind of in there where your kids start to raise up and you start to see the shimmering of what it is they're going to do after high school, whether they're going to go to college or they're going to go to a trade school, or whether they're going to get on a ship and sail around the world, or whatever it is they're going to do. And that's when you can design their future plan or their path to get them there. But if they're younger than that, you can really just slow down and enjoy learning. You can enjoy reading for the sake of reading, and you can read the same books over and over and over again. And you can simplify writing to understand that if you spent 90% of your time writing with your kids, if you just focused on brainstorming, where you do those word webs and you pull out things like, what do you already know? And what do you want to know? And you just write it down in your own handwriting and you take a step back, just getting those ideas out is so, so powerful. So anyway, that's kind of my thought for today, is that give yourself permission to go as slow as necessary so that you are truly enjoying this process of educating your kids and falling in love with learning. If you are struggling, I would love to chat with you. I would absolutely love to chat with you. And it's okay if you're nervous to get on the phone with me or to have a Zoom call. We can start in email. Somewhere in the link is where you will be. I'll pull you up. Let me show you the page that it pulls up to. So when you follow that link, and forgive me, I'm still recovering from a cold. So when you pull up, is it this one? Yeah. When you pull up the link, you'll come to this page, which is Breaking the Chains of Curriculum. And I want you to watch this little video at the top. And then when you click on this apply button, it's going to pull open a survey. The purpose of the survey is to give me the peek behind inside your homeschool just enough so that I can see with my gray hair where you're struggling and breathe encouragement over you. You may or may not be a perfect fit for our Homeschooling Olympians program, and that's okay. But I love breathing encouragement over each and every one of you. And it is a true joy to be able to watch somebody that's so uptight and so frustrated and so overwhelmed just to step into a place where they can breathe again. Homeschool should not be such a stress that you are, you have this angst when you wake up in the morning because you're not sure. Are you doing enough? Are you losing your kids? Are you connecting in a way that you can get past that 10, 12-year-old age with your kids and still have your relationships intact? Is it okay to just read and fall in love with learning? So anyway, I hope I get to chat with you soon. And I hope that you give yourself permission to slow down because slow is absolutely better. And I can't wait to see you pop up in my calendar.